Big G does it all.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Big G Does It All. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on my 2023 3rd Gen Tacoma. I personally like to do my oil changes every 5,000 miles, so get some paper towels because it's going to get messy. First thing we have to do is take a 12mm socket and remove the bolts that are holding the brush guard on. There's going to be 2 in the back and 2 in the front. Then it's just held on by 2 hooks in the front. Just pop it right off and slide it out of the way. There's another guard behind that one that covers the oil pan. It still allows you access to the drain plug, so you can take the guard off or leave it on. Here I left it on. The drain plug is going to be a 14mm, so go ahead and take the plug out and let the oil drain. Now it's going to be a little hard to see, but right up here you can actually see the crush washer actually is stuck to the pan, so you're going to want to make sure that you get that off before you go further. You always want to replace the crush washer on the drain plug, but in this case it's actually stuck to the pan. Here's the old crush washer. We're going to replace this every time we do an oil change. There's probably going to be some stuff left on the plug, so clean that up before the new one goes on. After putting the new one on, we're going to put it back in the drain pan, snug it up with a wrench, but we'll come back to it and torque it to spec later. Now we're going to take our socket wrench and we're going to loosen up and take out the housing drain plug. Your filter should come with one of these plastic drains. Honestly, there's a better tool out there for this, but I'm going to show you why these things are a nightmare. First of all, you try to clip it in and it's very hard to get to actually go up in there and stay. Here you can see me struggling, trying to get an angle where I can push it to stay into the housing, and it is just making a complete mess everywhere. By the time I finally get the plug to stay, it's pretty much already drained to the oil. And then the second part of the issue is trying to get it back out once you get it in. I couldn't get it by hand, so here you can see me using pliers, and it's just awful. So instead of dealing with that, just go ahead and go buy yourself the drain tool. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. You just screw it into the housing, and then you use the valve to release the oil. Next, take your oil filter wrench. I prefer the Motive X one. It's going to take some long, slow turns, but it will finally eventually come out. It's probably going to be very dirty and still a little bit of oil in there, so go ahead and pour that out. Your new filter is going to come with 2 O-rings. One's going to be for the drain plug and the other is going to be for the housing. Double check and make sure that both of these are seated properly so it doesn't leak. Go ahead and put the plug back on, just hand tight. Put the new filter in. Next, we're going to hand spin the housing back onto the Tacoma. Do not cross thread this or you're going to have a very bad day. Take your time and do it slow. Then we're going to take our torque wrench and torque it down to 18 foot-pounds. Now we're going to torque the housing drain plug down to 10 foot-pounds. And finally, we're going to torque down the oil pan drain plug down to 30 foot-pounds. Go ahead and pop the hood, and we're going to remove the oil cap, and now we can dump the first 5-quart jug of oil right in there. I like to take the empty jug and measure out the next 1.2 quarts of oil. That way we get our 6.2 quarts all together. Now go ahead and dump that last 1.2 quarts right in there. Go ahead and put the oil cap back on, close the hood, and start her up. Let the engine run for a little bit, go back underneath, check for leaks. If everything looks good, go ahead and put that brush guard back on, and you are all done with your oil change.
Congratulations.